joined now by Saad Awad, who will be fighting Nate Andrews at Bellator 259, May 21st. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to see you back in the cage here soon. I talked with Nate fairly recently, and I know he's excited for this fight as well. Tell me, man, I know you're down in Texas now. How has that move been training-wise and for your family?
Oh, it's been great, man. It's everything we thought it was going to be and more. We were nervous about the big move, but once we got out here, kind of got situated. We love it, man. We're really enjoying it. The kids love it. My wife loves it, and then the gym's awesome. The gym I'm at, so a lot of great fighters there, and the coach is he's something special. So it's pretty cool.
What are the biggest differences from Texas to California? I mean, and as far as adjustments go, like how hard has it been, or has there been anything where it's been kind of a little difficult?
I mean, I think the most difficult part is trying to find, like, I was trying to do stuff around the house. Like, I was trying to get my bathroom remodeled and trying to find people to come do it. In California, I probably have 10 different people I can call to come do, like, tile, come do, different kind of work. And here I don't know anybody. So, people are pointing me towards, different directions. But still, when you've known people for years versus not knowing anybody, the prices kind of change a lot. So it's just stuff like that, trying to use like connections that I used to have that I can't use because I don't have them out here. So, but besides that, everything's been good.
I think I told you before, I lived in Southern California for about 5 years, and I know how crazy the traffic can be and just the volume of people that are there. Is it a slower pace of life where you're at in Texas? Is it a little bit, calmer?
Yeah, everything's a lot slower here. The people talk slower. You know what I mean? It's just nobody's really in a rush. Like in California, you feel like everybody's just go, 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 go. And you're right. Like I used to live not too far from my old gym, and it would still take me about 30 minutes to get there. Here, I literally live, almost 30 miles from the gym, and it takes me 30 minutes to get there. You know what I mean? So the traffic's completely different. I mean, don't get me wrong. There is traffic during traffic time, but nothing like California. Like there's nothing like it.
So as far as your training partners go and the guys you're primarily getting your work in with, tell me who they are.
So, I'm training at Fortis MMA now with Coach Saad Awad, and there's a lot of good guys there. I mean, I think there's like 15 of them between the guys and the girls that are in the UFC right now. I think I'm the only Bellator fighter that's there. My main training partners have been Ramez. He's a 170 pounder. He's really good. And then Kareem Abdul. He just fought in LFA. It's tough, 55 pounder. They've been my main guys, and there's a bunch of dudes in the gym that I mix it up with.
Yeah, you must be working with Steven Peterson from time to time as well, right?
Peterson too. Yeah. We actually just sparred a couple days ago, but yeah, Peterson too. We're working together.
Where'd you get the shiner from? Who gave you that one?
Dude, I got 2 of them. I'm not even sure, man. There's some young kids that come into that train that are really good. His name's Cameron. I'm not sure his last name, but he's a southpaw. I've been using him too. Not using him, but been training with him. He has a fight coming up as well in one of the local shows, I think in Austin. And he comes down and spars with us twice a week, and he gives me a really good look. And so it's probably him.
Well, I'm happy that things are going so well for you career-wise and with your family. Is this a move where you feel like Texas is going to be home forever, or do you think maybe when you're done fighting, you guys might go back to California?
Yeah, I mean, unless things really change over there, I doubt it. You know what I mean? It's so overpriced. I don't think the traffic's going to calm down at all. I mean, I'm not saying I moved because traffic, but the price of living there it's ridiculous, and you don't realize it until you move from there. And then you think nothing's as good as California because you have the beaches or you have the mountains or whatever, and then you leave and you realize like there's a lot more beautiful places out here. Out in everywhere than California, especially when it comes to, cheaper living, and people are just nicer out here. Like Southern hospitality it's pretty real, and you don't realize it until you move from, where you're at,
Yeah, no doubt. Now, I know you're a sports fan outside of just MMA. Are you going to start to gravitate towards those Texas teams, or are you going to maintain that loyalty to Cali?
I don't know, man. I've never been a Cowboy fan. But I'm pretty sure I'll probably go to a game or two since I'm here, but I've never really been a Cowboys fan at all. So, I'm a 49ers fan. I'm not crazy about football. I love watching football, If you ask me who played, who's a running back for whatever team, I couldn't tell you. But I love watching the sport. So, I wouldn't mind going to, a local game.
What did you think of that Trey Lance pickup?
Like I said, I didn't even watch the draft. I know it just happened the other day or yesterday, right? This past weekend.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so caught up right now with my training camp and everything with the kids. Sometimes I'll watch it, but not right now.
Gotcha. Okay, we'll switch gears back to MMA then. Last fight, Mandel Nalo, no contest because of the low blow. Obviously, that's not the way that you wanted that fight to end. Is that a rematch that you're hoping to get at some point soon?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind, man. Let me get a win, then we get this fight out of the way, and then we'll start talking about future opponents. But I think he'll be a great opponent. He has good striking. He's pretty awkward. I think I'm pretty awkward. I think we were matching up pretty good, and shit happens, but it is what it is.
Did you get a chance to talk to him after the fight? Did he apologize? I'm sure it was inadvertent and it wasn't intentional.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy. He came straight to the room after, right before I went to the hospital, and he was just like, "Dude, I'm so sorry." I was like, "Don't even worry about it. It's a fight game. That's never happened to me. I've been hit there plenty of times in fights, but never get to that extreme. You know what I mean? And it's the fight game. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and that's as a man, that's a brutal area, as we all know, to get hit in. And I was cringing watching you in pain. Can you try and, I guess, give me an analogy as to something that you've experienced before, what that pain was like? Because it looked like it was pretty bad.
I mean, I've broken my hands 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in fights, and I've never stopped during the fight. And they always happen in the first round. And I fought 3 rounds, I think, twice with the broken hand, and that pain was horrible. Every time I moved, I felt the bone shifting in my hand, and this was something else. It was just weird. I felt like I was bleeding down there. I felt like I think the cup hit me sideways or something, and I felt like my balls were bleeding. And I was just like, dude, there's no. And then I tried to stand, like try to move, and I just felt like my legs weren't under me. Usually you get hit, you're like, oh, it hurts. You take a knee, couple minutes, you get back up, you kind of bounce it off. You're like, okay, it hurts, but it's cool. And that wasn't the case, So it was just something different, something I never went through, and I think I was more scared too that I had permanent damage than anything. And thank God it wasn't. It was just they just said it was I forgot what they called it. The doctor uses their terms, but I had basically swelling in my nuts, and she was like, if it turns, if they get bigger, come back. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, well, possibly could because they're starting to swell and whatnot, and so I just iced it, and yeah, it ended up being better.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to hear that it ended up being better, and you're back to training. You got to fight. It did look brutal, so I'm glad you made it through that. Well, we talked before that fight, and I know you've been on a little bit of a losing streak, so you felt like your back was against the wall. Like, how do you feel now, like after that, the way that fight with Mandel finished, going into this fight against Nate, a guy that is a veteran as well, like yourself, who's got a very stellar record? Like, are you feeling still like, man, this is do or die? I got to go in there and get this win.
I mean, of course, I feel like that. I mean, there's no secret. You know what I mean? Like, I've had some tough losses that I feel like I shouldn't have lost. I took fights at times I shouldn't have taken them, and yeah. So I mean, obviously my back's against the wall. It is, but I mean, I fight the way I fight every time, whether I'm on a winning streak or a losing streak. I fight to win, and that's how I'm gonna fight.
Remind me again, what is your current contractual situation with Bellator?
I still have a couple more fights, but I mean, there's no secret. Like you can't lose that many fights and still be employed by anybody. I'm thankful they still have me employed. I think the reason why I think is because I never turned down a fight. Like anytime they've ever called me and said, "Hey, we have this guy," I fought. I thought that's just how it was. I didn't know people turn down fights. Like I'm barely hearing about it. The past year, I'm like, people saying, "Oh no, I wasn't ready," or "I wasn't this." What do you mean you weren't ready? Like they gave you a month or they gave you 2 months. You got to be ready, And so I've always taken fights, and I think Bellator, they appreciate that, and I think that's why I'm kind of in the position I'm in because I never really turned down fights, and maybe I should have been a little bit smarter and picked my fights like everybody else does, fights that kind of tailored to them. But at the same time, I think all the guys that I do have losses to, I think I should have beat them. Had I had a better camp or had a wasn't trying to train around injuries, maybe I would have, did a little bit better. But it is what it is. I'm in the position I'm in, and it's all right. That's just how life is, and now I just got to pick it up and go from here.
And the way that I actually look at your situation too is you haven't been losing to layups. Like you've been fighting studs. Like all the guys that you've been fighting are upper echelon fighters. So, I think Bellator has to take that into consideration. Have you heard any rumblings about that, or just how they appreciate, everything that you brought to the table fighting, the best guys in the division?
I mean, they won't call me and tell me. After the fights, they come and say, I'll have like little talks with whoever it is that's there, whether it's Mike or Chow, or if I run into Coker, and but they don't call me after and say, hey, this and that. Sometimes they actually they've called me actually. They have. I'm not gonna say they haven't, but like I said, there's no secret, man. There's guys that's they'll lose one fight and get cut, and I'm thankful. Like once again, I'm thankful for Bellator to keep me employed. And, I think as long as I go out there and fight the way I know how to fight, I should get back on a winning streak. And there's a reason why they kept me around.
Now, you mentioned you're turning 38 this year and that you had this injury fixed and you're feeling good. Do you feel like a younger man now? Like back when you were younger before these injuries piled up, like you're feeling fresh?
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I do feel like it's taking me longer to recover from training. That's the only difference. Before I'd be able to go, and I'd be good. And now I'm like sore for like a little bit longer. But cardio wise, it's boosting me up. It's giving me more confidence. So the difference. There's difference. From there, from being old, and I might be a little bit slower, but I still feel like I'm pretty fast. I was always kind of fast for my size, because I'm a bigger lightweight. But I am getting older. There's no lie. There's no secret behind it.
Mhm. Well, I think you still have plenty of juice left in the tank. I also wanted to ask you too, about what Bellator's been doing lately, man. I think that they're really making some good moves. Signing this deal with Showtime, having these rankings. Like, what do you think about all of that and just the trajectory of the promotion here moving forward?
I think it's cool. I think change is always good. Anytime I've had change in my life, good or bad, it's ended up being positive, because people are afraid of change, and they get comfortable in doing what they're doing, and shit stays the same forever, because people are afraid of change. So I feel like every time Bellator has made a major change, the company has grown and things have changed, and for the better. Whether people think it's negative or not, it ends up for the better. From when they switched from the tournaments to when Coker came, and now they're switching from that to Showtime. I think it's gonna be a big thing, and I know there's new people around, and they're gonna have their ways of running things. They might change little things that people might not like or people might like, but I think at the end it's gonna be good.
Bellator 259 is just under 3 weeks away now. Who will be making the trip with you to the Mohegan Sun and be in your corner come fight night?
I got Ramez and Kareem Abdul. They're both coming out with me.
Gotcha. And this matchup with Nate, I mean, he's tall, he's kind of rangy. Like, how do you like this matchup stylistically for you?
I like it a lot, man. The kid likes to fight, and I don't see him backpedaling, which a lot of guys that I fight usually do, and they try to find little openings and stuff. But he likes to fight. I think he's gonna come stand right in front of me, and he's gonna try to push the pace as well as I am. So I think it's gonna make an exciting fight, and yeah, I'm excited about it.
Do you feel this fight goes the duration, or do you think you're going to get a finish?
I plan on going 15 minutes. That's what I'm training for. I'm training to beat him a decision, and usually when I train that way, good things come out of it. So as long as I stay patient, I don't rush things. I might get an early finish. If not, I plan on beating him every round, and going 15 minutes.
Awesome, man. Well, I cannot wait for this fight. May 21st, Bellator 259. Saad Awad, Nate Andrews. It's going to be a banger. Always a pleasure to talk to you, my man. Before I let you go, I'm sure you got people to thank. So the floor is yours, and tell them where to follow you on your social media as well.
Always thank you to you. Thank you for the interview, Ryan. Always a pleasure to talk to you. And thank you to the guys down at Fortis and Coach Safe for bringing me in. I know his gym's pretty full, and he's not taking new guys in. And when I came down, he was like, I'd love to have you. And it's been definitely an eye-opener. There's a lot of young sharks there that's been pushing me to my limit literally every day. I mean, you can see my face literally every day. I'm in a dogfight over there. So I've learned so much. I feel like my game's already changed. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about it. So I'm excited to show the new fighter I became. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. You can find me Saad MMA on all my social media platforms.
Very good. Again, man, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Best to you and your family, man. Hope you guys are loving it down there in Texas, and look forward to chatting with you again.
All right, thank you. I'll talk to you later.